Mr. Speaker, I now yield 3 minutes to another champion of this bill from our committee, the gentleman from New York, Mr. Weiner.
The gentleman from New York is recognized for 3 minutes.
You know, I've heard some people describe this bill as an entitlement bill, as if people are lining up to get this benefit. Like someone would really want to be on the list of people eligible to get the money that's eligible under this bill to get the health care. The idea that someone would volunteer or be eager to get the benefits, that in order to get them, you have to have a stew of toxic dust in your lungs so much that you can't breathe normally and you cough. And when you hear that 9/11 cough in New York, everyone will know. Everyone knows it. The idea that it's open-ended, no, it's actually a pretty close-ended program in the most final sense of the word, in that many people who have the illnesses that we're trying to treat with this legislation are dying. There are people in this chamber who are watching these proceedings and those that are home who once upon a time were the most vigorous, fit people imaginable. And it was because of that vigor and that fitness that they went down to ground zero on September 11th. They didn't ask to be chosen. They didn't fill out a form. They didn't even wear protective gear. They went down because they felt it was their obligation. They didn't just come from Lower Manhattan. They didn't just come from New York. As I've said many times, if you were in New York the days after September 11th, the streets were clogged with parked ambulances and fire trucks and cars, every license plate imaginable. Those people aren't asking for anything beyond just being able to cure the diseases that they got because they served. That's what this is about. You know, one of my colleagues that opposed this, yeah, I imagine there's 100 different ways you can describe it, and you can look at line 7 and page 6 and come up with some reason to be against it. But I would ask my colleagues to take a step back. And every single one of us on September 11th stood up in our districts and said, we're not going to forget the commitment that we made that day. Well, this is the moment. You can't stand up in your district on September 11th and say you won't forget and have a red light next to your name today. It just doesn't wash. This is a day we repay our debts. You want to call it entitlement bill? Okay. They are entitled. They're entitled to our care. They're entitled to our respect. They're entitled to the health care that they need. And they're entitled to a yes vote today. Let's give it to them. I yield back my time.